Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Classified Captures. Today we show you some of our best compilations yet. Drama, thrills, and jump scares. It's got it all. Grab your popcorn and let's jump right into it. A curious tourist visiting the storied Nile River was met with a mesmerizing yet unsettling sight. The once clear waters had transformed into a deep shade of crimson reminiscent of the biblical accounts of the river turning red. While the historical connotations may evoke a sense of foreboding, the reality behind this spectacle in 2016 can be traced to a natural phenomenon known as red bloom algae. In 2022, the scientific understanding of the occurrence sheds light on the mysterious transformation. Red bloom algae, also referred to as algal blooms, are caused by an overgrowth of certain types of algae in water bodies. These algae contain pigments that can impart a reddish hue to the water, giving rise to a striking visual effect. So don't worry, this is not a plague. Or is it? In Florida, this thing was seen in the night sky. It was a glowing thing that had glittery lights coming from its bottom. We don't know what this could be. Is it fireworks, aliens, or something else entirely? Relax, we know you don't have the answers, so Julius, my new assistant, and I did some digging, and the phenomenon apparently aligns with the characteristics of noctilucent clouds. Also known as night shining clouds, these ethereal clouds are exceptionally rare, manifesting as delicate cloud-like formations in the upper reaches of the Earth's atmosphere. When viewed from space, they're referred to as polar mesospheric clouds, appearing as a diffuse scattering layer of water ice crystals near the summer polar menopause. The appearance of noctilucent clouds often mesmerizes onlookers due to their captivating luminosity, creating a celestial spectacle that adds a touch of magic to the night sky. Either that or there's something ominous out there. In Minnesota, USA, this flying object was seen. As you can see, it's nothing like our usual UFO sightings. Instead of the typical sleek metallic craft, this airborne mystery took a form of what appeared to be a floating log. Now, if you're used to saucers whizzing through the sky, the sight of a log leisurely hanging in the heavens might raise an eyebrow or two. Is this a timber-powered spacecraft defying gravity? Well, not quite. This floating log could be a whimsical interplay of perspective and atmospheric conditions. Perhaps it's a weather balloon, a drone with an unconventional shape, or just a playful optical illusion. Who knows? But as the people of Minnesota scratch their heads at this timber enigma, one thing is for sure: the skies have a way of surprising us with the unexpected.
That's wild right there.
Is this magic or what? A man placed a bulb on the ground and it lit up with no connection whatsoever to electricity. The individual behind this peculiar demonstration claims that the ground itself produces electricity, offering an unconventional perspective on energy sources. According to his assertion, this hidden source of electricity could potentially challenge the existing narrative around power generation. While the video sparks speculation and debate, it's essential to approach such claims with a critical mindset. The phenomenon is known as Earth battery. This concept involves using the Earth as a conductor to create a voltage potential that can power low-energy devices. In this scenario, a metal rod is inserted into the ground, and another metal rod is connected to the light bulb. The voltage potential between these 2 points can be sufficient to power the bulb. While it's a real scientific phenomenon, Earth batteries typically generate very low power and are not practical for most energy needs. Also, it's hard to say if that's exactly what the man is doing. I want to laugh, but he might come for me, so we move on to the next footage. flight of swallows was gracefully circling the skies in China, and out of nowhere they started plummeting to their deaths. What could have caused such a peculiar and tragic event? But let's get real for a moment. It's like they were caught in the ultimate game of musical chairs, and when the music stopped, well, gravity took over. Nature usually operates with a certain harmony, and seeing a large group of birds behaving so strangely raises some serious questions. Did they encounter some environmental factors like extreme weather conditions or pollution that affected their navigation? Or is there some other, more enigmatic force at play here? Some even suspect it's 5G technology killing these birds, but what do you think? Next, we have mysterious green sludge oozing out of New York City's manholes. You can't make this stuff up. But hold on to your proton packs, because it turns out it's not some otherworldly ectoplasm or alien goo, it's just a bit of movie magic happening in real life. According to the provided information, constructors were testing sprinklers and utilized green foam during the process. This foam left a green stuff that was mistaken for a mysterious substance. Some even thought TMNT had come to town. We can't just get the stuff we want. If you haven't already hit the like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment so far, could you please do so now? It goes a long way to help us make more of these kinds of videos for you. Thank you so much. Now back to today's episode. While fishing in Brunei, some people noticed something strange in the water. As they zoomed in, they were shocked by what they saw. It's a strange creature. It doesn't appear to be a gator or a croc, or neither is it a fish. The creature had part of its body above the water as it swam across. I don't even know how to describe this thing. People who caught a glimpse of this aquatic enigma are throwing around theories. Some think it might be a local species with a funky birth defect, possibly caused by some chemical or heavy metal exposure. Others are going all in, suggesting it might be an entirely new species, giving us a sneak peek into the wonders of Brunei's waters. Like I said, I've got no leads, so what's your take on this strange thing? Next up is this strange footage that made rounds on the internet some time ago.
God, I can't even see it. What the hell's wrong?
No, it's straight up and down.
In the footage, a strange white humanoid figure was seen in the sky. When you zoom in, you could see its hands, head, and legs. This thing stood upright in the sky. It's not just one enthusiastic videographer that captured this airborne anomaly. It's a whole squad of sky gazers capturing the same surreal sight. But the burning question remains, what in the world, or out of it, is going on up there? Could this be some next-level superhero casually defying gravity, or following the trend of all things mysterious in the sky, are we looking at a potential alien visitor? The plot thickens, my friend. Keep your eyes on the sky. Who knows what else might decide to drop in for a visit? A man from Oregon claims to have stumbled upon a doorway possibly crafted by giants. That's quite the discovery. The structure resembles a massive door constructed with enormous rocks. This looks like someone or something big was involved in this construction project. Now, what do you do when you come across a doorway that could lead to the lair of giants? Well, you don't just stand there and contemplate your life choices. You climb up and give it a knock, of course. Someone in the squad decided to take this opportunity to test the hospitality of potential giant neighbors. But hold on. Let's dissect this a bit. Was this colossal doorway a creation of giants from days of yore, or is it just a natural marvel sculpted by the slow hands of time? The jury's still out on that one. And if by some cosmic chance a giant had swung that door open, what were they expecting to find? Maybe a note from the giant saying, "Be back in 5,000 years." All right, buckle up for this frosty mystery. A person out for a casual stroll after a snowstorm, just minding their business, when suddenly the ground beneath their feet starts to glow. Out of curiosity, the lady starts digging to unveil the secret source of this mysterious glow. Unfortunately, the video cuts off right before they discover what it is. Talk about a cliffhanger. Could it be a cluster of bioluminescent organisms like nature's very own fairy lights, or perhaps a hidden treasure chest of glow-in-the-dark snowflakes gifted by Jack Frost himself? We'll never know. Take a look at this footage. We're introduced to an alien creature walking among people. The creature had huge black eyes, a small head, and a humanoid body with no indication of genitalia, so we can't tell if it's male or female. I don't even know why I thought of gender, but let's move on. Now, the skeptics in the audience are already raising eyebrows and shouting CGI. This is a reasonable idea, seeing as this does not exactly look real. Given how technology has evolved, anyone with a computer can now whip anything into reality. Visit TikTok and you'll see what I mean. The believers, on the other hand, are all in, ready to welcome our new alien neighbors with open arms. After all, if E.T. could phone home, why can't this enigmatic creature call our earthly neighborhoods home?
What is this thing? Is it some type of teleportation funnel device?
Next, we have this cloud-like tunnel from the Earth going straight into the sky. You'll think it's a whirlwind from a tornado, but that's not it. The weather is clear and calm. However, in the tunnel, there seems to be something moving upwards into the sky. You can't see what it is, but you can make out a dark object moving inside. It looks like some sort of cloud elevator. Is it a peculiar form of teleportation or perhaps a weather anomaly? The lack of clear visibility into the tunnel only adds to the intrigue. What are your thoughts on this perplexing phenomena? A group of intrepid adventurers venturing where few have dared to tread found themselves inadvertently beyond the ice wall of Antarctica. As they float on the frigid waters, a perplexing sight unfolds on the distant horizon. The notion of an ice wall surrounding a hidden world has been associated with various conspiracy theories and beliefs. Some propose that Antarctica conceals ancient civilizations, extraterrestrial bases, or even entrances to the fabled Hollow Earth. So is it a mere optical illusion, or could there truly be uncharted territories hidden beyond the ice walls, a world waiting to be unveiled? In a crowd of people who were all fixated on what looks like a musical performance, something looks odd. There behind the girls is this strange-looking person. This person has a pale and hairless head, but before you tell me it's human, look at its eyes. There are no eyeballs, just dark hollows in the head. The rest of its body is hidden behind the girl in front. But what is this? An alien, or perhaps a wandering spirit drawn to the irresistible beats of human music? Or perhaps it's just an avant-garde fashion statement, and we're witnessing the birth of a new trend in intergalactic couture. In this next footage, things get even weirder. A gardener was going about his job when all of a sudden he tripped over a block and fell. But let's slow down the footage so we can take a better look at it. The block was in the corner, nowhere close to the man's feet, but as he took a step, an unknown force pushed the block onto the man's feet and he tripped on it and fell. The big question is, did our green-thumbed friend unknowingly disturb a spirit, or is this some mischievous force just a playful spectator in the cosmic gardening show? Perhaps the spirits of the garden are just trying to add a dash of excitement to the daily routine. What do you think? Just a quick reminder before the next clip comes, if you still haven't liked, commented, or subscribed, could you do so right now? You wouldn't want me to send a Bigfoot or a giant after you now, would you? In this next ghostly encounter, a man got out of his room and was met with this bone-chilling scene. A dark apparition sitting right in front of his car. The dark figure casts an eerie presence, leaving the observer to grapple with the unsettling sight. The details of this ghostly manifestation raise numerous questions about the supernatural realm. As with many paranormal experiences, interpretations may vary. Skeptics might seek rational explanations, considering optical illusions, camera glitches, or other mundane possibilities. On the other hand, believers in the supernatural might see this as evidence of the existence of entities beyond our understanding. What are your thoughts on this incident? In this intriguing footage, a star-shaped craft is captured by a drone soaring high above the clouds. Now let's peer into the cosmic conundrum. Could this be an extraterrestrial rendezvous point, an alien base hovering in the sky? Just imagine UFOs from different corners of the universe converging at this starry hub. A tantalizing theory, if I do say so myself. But, and here's the twist, some skeptics suggest a more down-to-earth explanation: CGI. Could this celestial marvel be a product of creative rendering rather than an interstellar gathering place? A part of me knows it is, but my heart, which loves all things alien, believes it's a UFO. Don't point the obvious out, just allow me to enjoy this. These men went out fishing when they came across this, a colossal snakeskin sprawled across the forest floor like an ancient tapestry. Nature, in its mysterious ways, unfolds before the observers, leaving them to marvel at the intricate patterns and textures of a snakeskin. The sheer size of the discarded skin hinted at a serpent of formidable proportions. Snakes shed their skins periodically as they grow, and the abandoned husk left behind can be a testament to the creature's size and maturity. The sight of such a vast serpent's skin raises questions about the potential presence of an enormous snake in the vicinity. Death is a topic that people don't like to talk about, but unfortunately, it's part of our reality as mortals. Now, how would you feel if we had a chance to bring our lost loved ones back? In this footage, a family is having a funeral for a loved one. However, as a relative steps forward to offer a final touch, a gesture of closure, the unthinkable happens. The seemingly departed loved one awakens. The shock and disbelief ripple through the gathered mourners, transforming the atmosphere from one of mourning to a mixture of astonishment and perhaps joy. Usually when people die, they're taken to the mortician where procedures are done to prep the body for burial, so this seems impossible unless the dead was taken directly for burial after death. Meaning this is a miraculous event defying the natural causes of life and death, or is there an underlying explanation, perhaps a medical phenomenon that mimicked death? Capturing a seemingly ordinary moment turned inexplicable, this footage unfolds among three women enjoying a carefree day of photos. As the camera rolls, one woman with her arm casually draped around another's neck becomes an unwitting participant in a ghostly encounter. A mysterious arm materializes seemingly out of nowhere. This spectral appendage reaches out to touch her hand, yet she remains blissfully unaware, showing no reaction to the ethereal contact. As the video concludes, the mysterious arm retreats into the unseen realms, leaving the women to carry on with their day, perhaps unaware of what just intersected with their joyous gathering. So, dear observers of the uncanny, what's your take on this ghostly cameo in the photo session? A supernatural photobomb, an ethereal arm reaching from the beyond, or a playful dance between the realms of the seen and the unseen? Exploring the enigmatic beauty of nature, these mysterious caves stand at the water's edge with waves rhythmically flowing in and out of their openings. The allure of these caverns lies not only in their natural aesthetics, but also in the mystery that surrounds their hidden depths. But where do they lead to? One possibility is that these caves are part of an interconnected system with passages leading to various chambers or even extending beneath the seabed. The unknown nature of these spaces adds an element of excitement as the exploration of caves often unveils surprises ranging from unique geological formations to the presence of undiscovered life forms adapted to subterranean habitats. What are your thoughts on these mysterious caves? Do you envision them as portals to hidden realms or simply as geological wonders shaped by the forces of nature? Imagine going to the movies with a few friends. The cinema is not packed, so the place looks pretty empty. However, you pose to take a picture, only to realize that there is another person there with you. But this person is not a person per se, but rather an entity. These three friends had taken a picture in the empty cinema when they noticed a fourth entity in the photo with them. When you look closely, you'll notice that the apparition looks like a woman in a black dress and hat. She resembles a woman from the Victorian era. The juxtaposition of friends enjoying a modern cinema experience with the unexpected appearance of a figure from the past creates a captivating narrative. It prompts questions about the possible history of the location, whether there are tales of a woman from the Victorian era associated with the cinema, or if there are documented instances of paranormal activity in the vicinity. Investigating the history of the cinema or seeking out local stories and accounts of supernatural encounters could provide additional context to this mysterious photo. But what do you think? Is it a genuine image or a hoax? Share your thoughts. In this perplexing footage, this man shares with the world how he can levitate in the air and float across the forest floor. Skeptics speculate that invisible strings might be at play, conveniently kept out of sight by the camera's framing. While the mysterious levitation captures attention, the hesitancy to reveal what happens above the man's head fuels doubt. A segment of the audience remains unconvinced, attributing the spectacle to clever trickery rather than an unearthly skill. Yet, in certain cultures, meditation is associated with transcendental abilities, blurring the lines between the mystical and the tangible. Is this individual tapping into the realm beyond our comprehension, or is it an elaborate illusion hoax? Tell us what you think in the comments section. Still on canine creatures, we move to southern Texas for our next clip. Have a look. The creature you see on your screen was captured by a couple while they were out exploring the woods. While we're unsure of how they managed to catch it, one thing is certain. When they captured the creature, they found it far from normal looking. They compared it to all the local species of small animals in the neighborhood, but the creature was just too different from all of them. Even the local dogs in the area. Being believers in the paranormal, they started to believe that they may have actually caught the legendary chupacabra. As we watch the footage, it's easy to see why they might have thought that. The creature looks like a mangy dog, and many descriptions of the chupacabra mention a hairless canine creature that drinks blood and fluids from its animal victims. While the animal fits the bill, it does seem a bit small for that description. Beyond that, it doesn't look like that thing consumes blood, as it was being fed powdery feed, which I'm pretty sure it consumed. But if it's not a chupacabra, what then is it? Or am I the one being too bad a skeptic? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Would a bear attack a trail camera? Before you answer, watch this. While I know it looks like the bear was attacking the trail camera, what if I told you that it wasn't? If you pay attention to the video, you'd realize that the bear was going through some container until it abruptly stopped and then bolted out of the place. Putting on our Sherlock Holmes hats, we can deduce that the bear was probably going through those containers in search for food. Perhaps the containers were storing food items and the bear was simply drawn there by its scent. It might have heard people in the process and then tried to leave. Yes, keep applauding. I know I have decoded the scene, but what do you do when you live in a bear country and need to store food items outside? Well, you use a bear box. If you're wondering what that is, it's a metal container designed to store food and scented items in bear countries with the means of preventing the bears from accessing its contents and reducing the risk of human-bear conflicts. You can imagine what could have happened if the bear decided to go after the humans that disturbed it. It could have been tragic, tragic, tragic. If you're watching this video and live in a bear country and do not own one, you better pause the video, order yourself one, and then come back to it. I'm watching you. If you own one, just write "own one" in the comments section. If you ordered, just write "ordered one" in the comments section. I will be watching. If you're jumpy, this is going to be a roller coaster ride for you. This YouTuber visited an abandoned bunker he'd been to before on 2 occasions but never had a strange encounter. However, this third time did it for him. Like they say, the third time is a charm. As he was inspecting the empty bunker, you see a piece of wood lift and fall, sending a chilling sound echoing through the bunker. The once confident adventurer almost abandoned his seeing as he bolted straight out of the entrance. After he calmed down from the scare, he went back to look further, but this time he didn't notice the next encounter until he was reviewing the footage. There, in the eerie hallway, a dark figure pops up and disappears again. This guy was the only one present, so what was that? A ghost or evil spirit? You tell us. In the blackness of the night, engulfing the remote forest, did you see that creature suddenly appear and then disappear as it appeared? What does the scene bring to mind? Some who saw the footage believed it was Bigfoot, but a second group believed it was nothing more than a witch. The darkness makes it hard to discern what exactly we're looking at, but is it just me or does it appear to be wearing a cloak more than it does appear to be having fur? Perhaps it's my eyes or simply put, my active imagination at work, but I believe the uploader may have wrongly identified the cryptid he encountered. What do you think? Did you catch the deer running past the trail cam? Did you notice anything else? Take another look at the footage. You saw it, didn't you? There was a floating orb just above the deer. It moved with the same speed as the doe and in the same direction, almost as though it was chasing it. While some might dismiss the orb as a camera artifact, our longtime subscribers know that orbs often indicate supernatural activity. The sender of this clip believes it's a ghost. I do see the moving object, but I'm not inclined to make the ghostly association with this particular clip. What about you? For our next one, if you have a fear of spiders or arachnophobia, you might want to skip it. Yes, you're seeing right. Those are the legs of a spider and its underbelly or thorax, if I'm not mistaken. Is the spider giant, though? As much as I'd love to say yes, it's not. It's a normal-sized spider moving on top of the trail cam. We've encountered numerous instances of this, which led me to wonder if trail cams have something that attracts spiders, but it turns out they don't. Trail cam setups can, however, become hot zones for insects, and as we know, spiders love their insects, which is likely why we often see them hanging around trail cams. But what do you think? Next, we have a rather bizarre capture from a trail cam, if I do say so myself. Have a look. The captured footage unveils a landscape teeming with lush trees and verdant grass enveloping the expansive terrain. In the capture, we see what looks like a shadowy figure moving through the environment. Its form and shape change as it moves, almost as though it's trying to materialize from another plane. Is that even a logical thing to say? Well, if you asked me some months ago before the start of this channel, I would have said yes, but looking at all the things we have encountered up to date, I guess not. Only one question remains, however. Is it authentic? Now, that's a question that's hard to answer. A part of me thinks this could be real, but then again, another part of me knows AI is capable of producing images as photorealistic as this. So I ask you, what do you think is happening in this trail cam capture? In this next footage, we have a man who claims to own the body parts of a Bigfoot his father shot and killed years ago. According to him, the creature was so massive that they had no suitable space to preserve the entire body intact, so they resorted to cutting it into pieces for preservation. Here we can see him displaying the severed arm of the said Bigfoot. The arm, covered in brown fur, looks incredibly realistic. The palm looks human, but has this animalistic look to it, and it's very big. It's distinctly different from chimps, monkeys, or gorillas. Do you believe it is indeed the arm of a Bigfoot, or do you think it's simply a prop? We'd love to hear your take and thoughts. Next, we have this beautiful capture that brought tears to my eyes. And yes, that's an exaggeration, but the beauty of the picture isn't. Have a look. That's a beautiful doe moving through the water. Whoever placed this trail cam where it's positioned definitely knew what they were doing. It's not every day you see a beautiful capture. For those who didn't know, deers are impressive swimmers. They got great legs. Wait, did I say great? I meant strong legs with a natural buoyancy that allows them to float. Yeah, despite their skill, their body allows them to stay afloat. If they had webbed feet, we'd definitely call them water animals. Either way, that's a great capture. I have a question though. Do you think the water is splashing in the right direction, or am I simply trying to see things that aren't there? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Now for our next capture, you might want to brace yourself because it doesn't look pretty. Before you ask the question, allow me to answer. Yes, that's a deer, and yes, those are growths or warts around its neck. As disturbing as the image is, that's not uncommon for deer in the wild. These growths are known as fibroma or skin tags, and they result from various factors including genetics, insect bites, parasites, and poor nutrition, among others. Despite their appearance, these growths don't pose a significant threat to the deer, although larger ones might cause discomfort for the animal. That doesn't mean to run and apply ointments if you see a deer with one. What you should do is alert local authorities. Local authorities are best equipped to provide assistance. Until then, all we can do is hope and pray that the deer receives the necessary help. Do you like spiders? If you answered no to this question, then this next post might just scare you out of your wits. This footage was taken by a man who'd gone to the woods to enjoy the scenery. He decided to film the whole process because, well, why not? What he didn't expect, however, was to see a strange tree looking gray from a distance. Intrigued, he drew nearer to find out what was keeping this odd-looking tree gray, and what he saw left him speechless. I mean, how do you explain the sight you're seeing? A tree covered in cobwebs? Surely there must be a logical explanation for it, and truly there is. I've shared it on this channel before. Who can remember it? If you do remember the explanation I gave, leave a comment and start with "I remember" in cap lock so we can give you a befitting acknowledgement. If you haven't seen the video before, this might be the best time to revisit our previous videos because we've really got a special surprise for whoever remembers this. Speaking of Bigfoot, a 12-year-old boy saw a Yeti on a camping trip in the Kemerovo Mountains in Siberia. The Kemerovo Mountains in Siberia are renowned as a hotspot for Yeti sightings. The young boy said he was taking a morning walk with some of the kids when he spotted the magnificent creature with brown fur and brown eyes like a human. Following the boy's sighting, the campers stumbled upon tracks left by the mysterious creature near the campsite. Strangely, no one heard anything unusual during the time the creature was presumed to have passed by. The tracks of the creature were double the size of an adult human's, pointing to the fact that the boy's account was true. He really saw a Bigfoot. Such a lucky kid. Next, we have Trailcam capture from an individual who seems to really have captured something bizarre. He claims it's a dog man, but let's judge that claim for ourselves. Did you see the creature he was referring to, or did the footage simply leave you confused? In the footage, we see what appears to be the outdoors with a lot of grass and some items there. Might be the backyard of someone's home, but it's hard to say. The individual recording the footage, however, is seemingly perplexed and, I dare say, even scared. He points the camera in the direction of whatever is giving him the scares, but his shaky hands make it hard to see. We slowed down the footage in an attempt to catch what the whole thing was about, and guess what we saw. There is a creature with dark fur in the slowed down footage. It stares at the man and then stares away, remaining perfectly still. It's almost as though it was trying its best to avoid being seen. Is it a dogman, though? Personally, I don't think so. It might be a man in a suit or a different kind of cryptid. What do you think? Next, we have another bizarre capture from Lancaster County. Unlike the previous one, however, this is a video and it showcases something that looks more like a mutation than it does a cryptid. Yes, what you are seeing is very real. And yes, that's an actual deer with 2 noses. A park ranger discovered this unusual footage on a trail cam set up to capture local wildlife. The trail cam had been successful capturing intriguing videos, and he was anticipating more. What he didn't expect, though, was the confusion upon first sight of this footage. It was mostly because he didn't know what he was looking at. The deer's face appears oddly shaped, with 2 additional openings. It took him a while, but he soon realized that these weren't openings, they looked like additional noses. The sight was truly bizarre and marked the first time such an occurrence had been captured on video. The ranger was highly convinced he was dealing with a mutated deer, but some experts who reviewed the case believe it could have resulted from injury. What do you think? While it's common to witness animals perching on trees as if it were an everyday marketplace affair, I'm still utterly flabbergasted. It's the second time I've been proven wrong. Goats are exceptional climbers too. The location of this video clip remains unknown, yet it's clear the camera was strategically positioned to capture this astounding sight. White goats scaling an impressively tall palm tree. That alone doesn't suffice. It raises questions about whether these goats are specifically trained or controlled to perform this feat. Could the recorder have inadvertently placed the camera upside down? Well, forgive me for sounding skeptical, but the palm tree stands upright except for the apparent slant or curvy posture to it. Did I just describe a tree as being curvy? Oh, forgive me, but you get the idea, don't you? Either way, coming back to the video, if you know anything about goats, it's that they love to climb. I know that. All the members of the team know that, but it's simply hard to believe climbing palm trees was simply a part of their resume. Wild. What do we have here? Behold, a hand fidgeting with a trail cam. You've heard curiosity killed the cat, but this hand's owner seems unfazed. As darkness cloaks the day and masks the identity, this hand doesn't exude fear. If anything, it screams for a manicure. Gnarled and unclipped nails, maybe even a stray hair or 2. I mean, it looks like the hand of an unkempt hunter aiming for the headlines by activating the trail cam's infrared light. If that's not the scenario you had in mind, then I suspect Bigfoot took the spot, and I can't blame you. Considering the nails and gnarls, it makes sense after all, but this just screams fake. I'm sorry, a part of me wanted to believe it could be, but clearly it's not. It just seems too out of character for the big guy, but what do you think? Could it really be a Bigfoot looking for a potential hand model, or is this just a bad attempt to go viral with Bigfoot footage? Share your thoughts in the comments section, as we'd love to read it. Speaking of mysterious captures, take a look at this next one. At first glance, this looks like an ordinary image captured of the woods at night. A second look, however, and you'd notice something weird going on the left side of the screen. Do you see it? It appears to be some form of translucent creature moving within the trees. The poor quality of the image makes it hard to zoom in and discern what it is, because the more you zoom in, the blurrier the image gets. We're not particularly fond of blurry images because they often invite skepticism unless the circumstances surrounding them make a strong case for their blurriness. So we throw this one at you. What do you think you were seeing? Is this whole image even real or simply a hoax meant to throw us off? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. While the previous footage may not have exactly scared you out of your chair, this next one might do the trick. Watch. The footage starts off with a man driving what looks like a quad bike through the woods. It turns out the trail he's on is designated for ATVs, considered safe for off-road vehicles, quad bikes, dirt bikes, and similar vehicles. But what is it, though? Well, the writer found out the hard way it was not. Suddenly, his ride was interrupted by a wire fixed at neck height. Luckily for him, he had his helmet on, and that's what made contact with the wire. Given the speed at which he was riding, it pushed his head back with great force. But what if he was not wearing a helmet? What if it had made contact with his neck? What if he was on an actual bike? Would he have survived? I don't think so. But who would set up a wire on such a track? Why, and who was the target? Was it an attempt at murder or something meant to create a freak accident? I don't know about you, but if I were him, I would definitely not trust that track again or any track in that area whatsoever. Now let's move to the sea. With about 5% of the sea explored, we aren't certain of all the creatures, both big and small, that live in it. But why does that matter? For an answer, watch this footage. There in the middle of the ocean, a horned creature emerges from the depth. The creature resembles a dragon, and you can't help but wonder how that's even possible. You see it too, right? A supposed creature of the sea no one has seen. As expected, we did a thorough scrutiny of the footage and realized that the thing was not real in any way. It's just some good CGI. When I first saw the footage, it got me thinking that humanity was doomed. But thank God there's no cause for alarm and it's not real. Or is it? Share your thoughts in the comments section. This footage was taken in Michigan this year and had been kept under wraps until the recent events in the USA, if you know what I mean. A man was taking a stroll when, out of nowhere, he noticed a flying disc in the sky. Looking at the discs, I guess we all have an idea what that might be. A UFO. Members of the paranormal scrutinized the crafts and were convinced that there was no way this was CGI. Frankly, there's not much to go on about. It's hard to confirm or disprove the fact. Some are convinced that the sightings have only increased since the confirmation by the US government because the aliens know they've been found out and are no longer interested in hiding. Frankly speaking, I find that hard to believe, but what do you think of the whole thing? Do you believe the sightings are real, or are people simply taking advantage to go viral? Share your thoughts. Next is another image we're trying so hard to wrap our heads around. You know what? Just take a look for yourselves. Yeah, that was apparently captured on a Trailcam set up in the woods. The owner of the Trailcam initially thought his friends were pranking him, but after checking with everyone, he realized they knew nothing about it. So then, what is this thing? We can't say for certain. It seems to have a human body with a head resembling some pig-like creature. Imagining such a creature brings to mind Bebop from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but this is happening in real life. Critically looking at the image once more, a part of me wants to believe that this is nothing more than a man in a mask. I know I sound like the paranormal critic today, but, well, look at it. What other explanation could there be for this? Yes, you're seeing it right. A humanoid creature with a head that's a mix of a kangaroo or maybe a dog. It also appears to be going after whoever is holding the camera we see in the shot. While we've showcased weird and disturbing footage on this channel before, nothing compares to what we have in store today. Despite the uploader's silence, it's evidence from the capture that this creature gave the cameraman and crew the scare of a lifetime. Now, let's talk about the creature in question. Does it remind you of any cryptids? If you thought of the Dogman, you're on the right track. However, unlike Bigfoot and other cryptids, information about the Dogman is scarce. This makes it difficult to tell if it's truly the Dogman or some unknown kind of cryptid. There's, however, a third possibility, that the whole thing is a fake and the uploader is peddling us nothing but lies. But what do you think, though? Tell us in the comments section, as we'd really love to hear them. Well, looks like the webbed tree is not the only shocker for the day. Check out this footage. This footage was captured by a crew of loggers who were cutting down some oaks in the Alabama woodlands. They had done this so many times that it had almost become second nature to them. They always knew what to expect and how to navigate them. But what you see on your screen is not something they anticipated. If you're wondering what you're seeing, allow me to put you out of that stress. The creature you see on your screen is nothing more than a mummified dog. There's no telling how it ended up there, but we can make some intelligent guesses. The poor canine probably wandered into the woods chasing a rabbit and got stuck in the tree trunk. It couldn't wiggle itself out of the tree and ended up starving to death. No matter how you look at it, that's a horrible way to go, but instead of decaying, the tree preserved its body. This discovery got the world talking, and the mummified dog was put in a museum and named Stucky. Fascinating, isn't it? Now, which one of you knows which museum the dog was placed in? Tell us in the comments section. Moving away from Bigfoot, yet remaining in the strange and mysterious, let's take a look at this strange footage from a trail cam situated in the heart of the forest. In the footage, you can see the stillness of the night being disturbed by a blurry image moving from a distance toward the camera. As the movement gets closer, you realize that it's some kind of pale head shrouded in a dark cloth. The figure appears to be tightly wrapped in dark cloth, which brings to mind a mummy. What or who could this be? Could it be a peculiar person engaged in a ritual, or perhaps an elusive entity wandering the forest? It's hard to say. There's also the possibility of it simply being an elaborate hoax. Which of these possibilities are you more inclined to lean towards? Tell us in the comments section. Everything they say rises and falls with leadership, and looking at our next footage, I must say I believe it. In the footage, we see a pack of wolves seemingly going about their normal, everyday business when the one leading the pack suddenly stops and alerts them to danger, asking them to move. Given the fact that she stared in the direction of the camera, the uploader believes she noticed the unfamiliar artifact in their environment and doubted it was safe. See how she gets the rest of the pack to scatter and leave, with the exception of that last one who comes back to see if there was really any danger at all. I guess there's always going to be that odd, weird one, even in the animal kingdom. But we've been wondering, how did she detect the camera? Could it be because of the scent, or does the Trailcam act in a way that allows wolves to detect them? Could the experienced ones help us with an explanation? We'd be reading the comments to see, as we really want to know. We all know that Russians are built differently, but what about their animals? Turns out they're built differently too. Watch this next one. And yes, that's a bear trying to climb a ladder. You don't need to be a genius to know that a bear is trying to climb that ladder to get to the man filming. From the footage, we can see the bear climbing up toward the man, who keeps talking or vocalizing, and eventually the bear climbs back down. He's in the clear then, right? Well, no. The bear decides that if it can't climb up to the man, it would bring the man down to it. It starts pulling on the base of the ladder, most likely with hopes of pulling the man down to him. We see it attempt to pull the ladder several times, but unfortunately the video ends before we can witness the outcome. Given the fact that the video was uploaded online, I'd like to believe that the man made it out. What about you? Many vast lands have gone to waste and don't seem to be wanted for keeps either, and the one in the next footage is no exception. The video showcases extensive plots of land marked with soil uplifts and incomplete grazing activities. Among the trees stands a figure dressed in stark white attire, so blindingly white that it's impossible to overlook. It remains stationary, its towering height standing out. Beyond its stature, little can be discerned about its other physical attributes. There's a belief that it might be connected to the numerous murder cases documented in the area. Some even suggest it's the spirit of one of the victims killed in the area. Looking at it, however, I believe there's more to the story than we're being let in on. Instead of a lost spirit, I'd want us to consider another possibility. It's a witch. If that's a far stretch, then possibly a member of a secret cult operating in the area. Before you dismiss it, take a good look at the figure in the footage. Do you not see that there's something ominous with it? Next, we have a video clip that reveals the remains of a dinosaur, specifically a T-Rex in the heart of the woods. The uploader had the paranormal and dinosaur enthusiasts community believing that he had indeed filmed a T-Rex. As you'd expect with such a revelation, it was met with debates as well as a lot of skepticism. But could he be telling the truth? Well, if any living dinosaurs indeed remained from the tumultuous events millennia ago, this capture might just be the evidence many needed. I mean, if you take a closer look, you'd see flesh, meaning it's a fresh kill. As the debates raged on, the uploader had an epiphany and came online to clarify all misconceptions. In fact, he revealed the footage originated from a German museum theme park. The park had fashioned a replica of a deceased T-Rex, simulating its appearance after gradual decomposition and becoming part of the earth. It was meant to be an educational tool, but the uploader saw an opportunity to get rich and famous. Unfortunately for him, he was called out and came out to apologize to the community and all who believed it. But do you think he should be let off on such an easy note? The footage starts off with what looks like an innocent woodpecker curiously examining the Trailcam. After a few minutes, it becomes apparent that the woodpecker isn't just examining the Trailcam, it seems to either be vandalizing it or making a home out of it. It starts pecking at the camera until the camera simply goes off. The owner of the camera actually found it in bad shape and wondered what could have caused the damage. He got his answer when he reviewed the footage, though. However, this discovery left him with more questions than answers. Why would the woodpecker destroy his equipment? Could the camera have been fixed in a tree where it got its favorite nutrition from? Had it marked the tree to build its new nest? Or did it simply find the camera's presence an annoyance? Could our avian experts help us out on this one? We'll be reading the comments section for answers. A man who had set up his Trailcam overnight to capture wildlife went to review the footage his cam had captured and was greeted with a capture that had humans instead of animals. Take a look. The footage starts off with two men walking into the woods, after which they are joined by a third. These men look like they mean business given how they're moving with purpose and seriousness. The flash lamps they carry in their hands give off the vibe that they may be searching for something, but what exactly? This is where it gets interesting. We don't have to wait too long for our answer because within a few minutes they return from the woods dragging along a younger male. The first question that came to mind was, are they kidnapping him? I mean, you can never be too sure of late, right? The truth, however, turns out to be less sinister than that. The young man we see in the footage got drunk and went into the woods where he got lost. These men simply went out to look for him, and fortunately, they found him. They basically saved his life, and it was captured on tape. Interesting, right? Ah, the mystique of Bigfoot continues. In the world of cryptids and enigmatic creatures, Bigfoot or Sasquatch holds a special place, and this image adds another layer to the enduring mystery. The footage opens us up to a forest where we've got some dense bushes, and there, right in the midst of it all, is a figure with brown fur with its back turned to the camera. Now the speculation begins. Some adventurous souls suggest that what we are seeing here is none other than the elusive Sasquatch crouched down on the ground. After all, these creatures are known for their significant size. But wait, there's a twist in the tale. This particular one is much smaller compared to what our expectation of a Sasquatch is. Some members of the paranormal community have suggested that the footage might not be a Bigfoot at all. Instead, they've suggested it might be a rare capture of the monkey people, an entirely different species of cryptid. Are you familiar with these species, or do we need to do a special episode on them? Tell us if you'd want that in the comments section. We'd be reading. If you haven't hit the like and subscribe buttons yet, this would be a good time to do so. We've got so much content in store for you, and we wouldn't want you to miss any. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Now, back to today's episode. Talking of something sinister, this structure was found in the woods. Its architecture is undeniably strange. The structure consists of numerous tree branches intricately intertwined, and there's an opening that resembles a doorway leading into the structure. I'm not sure what led this individual to venture into the woods at night, but this just screams monster's lair to me, and the presence of this person feels more like an intrusion than an adventure. Looking at the structure, you can tell that this is not man-made because the broken branches around the structure look like they were snapped out of place, while humans would have used equipment to clean-cut them. If it's not human, then whatever built this must be pretty intelligent. At first, I thought it could be a hunter's blind, but there's no way human arms could snap those trees off the ground. Could this be the work of Bigfoot? Could the whole structure be a Bigfoot lair or another undiscovered and much bigger creature? You tell me. We've had cryptids that look like apes, and then some that look like goats and even dogs, but have you heard of any that look like rabbits? Whatever your answer was, you might want to see this. Yup, that's an actual humanoid with a rabbit head. Yes, an actual humanoid-looking rabbit. We haven't encountered anything like this in all the years of exploring the paranormal. Some members of the team say it looks more like a wolf or fox, and as much as I can see where they're coming from, I stubbornly stick to the rabbit looks. Despite our different stances on what this might be, we all wanted this to be legit. But the more we looked at the picture, the more disappointed we became. In the end, we had to come to terms with the reality. It's a photo of a man in a costume and nothing more. We've no idea if the individual was trying to trick the owner of the Trailcam into believing it was paranormal or if it was accidentally captured by the Trailcam. But assuming this was your trail camera and assuming this was real, how would you have reacted? Tell us in the comments section. Still on animals detecting things you wouldn't expect them to, we have this interesting Trailcam footage. Watch. In the footage, we see two deer grazing. One of the two, however, is jittery and keeps looking around as though it were expecting a predator or felt something that was not right. I was tempted to think it might be normal behavior. That was, at least until I noticed the translucent thing that moved across the screen right when it turned. What was that strange thing? Is it a paranormal entity? Did that deer just notice a paranormal being? Does that mean animals are capable of detecting beings beyond our plane? Or is this video cleverly edited to make it look that way? So many questions, yet no answers. Tell us, what do you think? We'd really love to know. I know you've always trusted me to start off with a wild one, and I know this first capture will not disappoint. It's unknown where exactly this was captured, but let's stick to the obvious. Amidst a densely remote forest which appears like an area rarely frequented by people with tall, bare trees standing without leaves. In this very area, though, stands a figure, defying the known essence of these woods. A woman of uncertain age, hair deeply parted to the left, much like my vantage point. She dons a blue top under a lengthy coral pink jacket adorned with black stripe-like patterns. By all standards, this image should be fine, but no, it's rather unsettling. She stands in a weird posture wearing a face and look that can only be described as sinister. A video clip would have presented it with greater clarity. Her face, ghostly pale, resembles a mask akin to Pennywise from the film It, as if she's possessed by a malevolent spirit. But why? She looks like an innocent young girl with a future much brighter than the contrast in that photo. Or is that what the spirit in her wants me to think? Well, I don't know anymore. It might as well be a hoax, meaning I'm simply thinking too much of it. But what do you think? Notice that many places considered haunted are in remote areas of town. Well, this next footage follows a similar trajectory, which might prove that there's indeed a correlation. During the early hours of the night, a man known for his curiosity stumbles upon a location not recommended for a visit, a place known as Dead Doll Lane. If the name doesn't already give it away, the vicinity is filled with numerous dolls, some hanging, others dismantled or even destroyed. A few are caught in the fences along the road. Unfazed by his findings, he continues his investigations. Myths surrounding these dolls suggested they house evil spirits or perhaps even demons. But let's ponder, are these locations truly overtaken by so-called evil spirits and demons, or could they be regular spirits clinging to the perceived homes and attaching themselves to the new occupants of the property? Whatever your answer, there are individuals who've assumed the role of blinding these spirits to dolls like those featured in the footage. A few of these bound spirits become problematic and are consequently banished to the lane you see. What do you think, though? Are there merits to these myths, or are they simply old wives' tales being passed on from one generation to the other? Share your thoughts or experiences, if any, with us. You know that unsettling feeling of being watched, especially when you were home alone. In a disconcerting incident, a woman found herself gripped by an unsettling feeling, prompting her to scan her surroundings for the source of her unease. To her astonishment, she discovered a peculiar sight outside her window. A pale, otherworldly creature with an elongated neck lurking in the shadows. The kind of sight that makes you question if you're living in a horror movie. The creature may have been elusive, but its unmistakably non-human form raises the hairs on the back of your neck. What do you think that could be? A friendly visitor? A paranormal voyeur? Or is it simply a trickery using light? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. And with that, we end today's episode. Thanks for staying with us. Before you go, are there popular trailcams you've come across that you think we should absolutely feature on this channel? Please tell us in the comments section. If you personally have odd footage you recorded yourself, you can forward it to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do the needful analysis and include it in our next episode. We'll also give you credit, unless, of course, you want to remain anonymous. We can't wait to receive your clip. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and family. See you in the next one.